Today's video is a bit different. It's going to be more informative. I'm going to talk to you about getting about in Bali. I'm going to say in Brighton then. So what it's about, I've got a good few questions here, and so we're just going to work our way through them, and I hope you find them helpful. What is the best way to get around Bali? That's the first one. To get around town, without a doubt, is to use a scooter. If you're not confident riding a scooter, then using a Grab or Gojek. They're basically like Uber, but a lot cheaper, and they come on bikes. So they come with a spare helmet, and they're very cheap. They're, I think, around 4,500 Indonesian rupees per kilometre, and they're very good to use. Does Bali have Uber? No, as I just said, it has Grab and Gojek, and they're both as good as each other. Lovely, thank you very much. Cheers. That's very kind. Cheers. Cheers, everyone. Oh, that's a harsh avocado juice. Definitely put some sweetener in that. Okay. Can I pay cash for a Gojek and Grab? Yes, you can. They're both around the same. Gojek is slightly more expensive, but they're both good. But you can also pay in app. Gojek has a Go Pay in its app, and Grab has the OVO. Gojek is cheaper. Is Jet cheaper than Grab? Yeah, it's very slightly though. It's hardly worth mentioning. How do you sit on the back of a scooter? I've actually just made a quick video about this. It's very simple, but I understand if you've not done it before. So I have heard people ask, how do I sit on the back of a scooter? Or how do I sit behind my boyfriend on a bike? Both the same question, and it's a very simple one to answer. Your boyfriend or the Grab driver will have both legs down. You can either put one foot on the pedal here, put your hands on his shoulders, and then throw your leg round onto the other peg. And then when you're sitting down on the back, you can either hold onto his shoulders like that, or you can hold here. But really, at the end of the day, the secret to being on the back of a scooter is just to be a dead weight. Just to stay still, stay centre, let him lean to the left, let him lean to the right, or her, of course. And because every time you make an alteration, they will have to readjust that alteration with their arms. So if you're moving a lot round the back, they'll end up tiring them out. And then again, to get off the scooter is exactly the same. Hands on the shoulders, stand up, flip one leg off the peg, and then you're home dry. Right, I hope that helps. Safe riding. How much do you tip the driver in Bali? Well, as much as you want really, 10-15%. The odds are that your trip is going to cost no more than £2. So we're talking about a 20p tip, or 30-35 cent tip if you want to do at all, but you don't have to, especially if it's in app. The same goes with the restaurants, although digressing, a lot of the restaurants tip themselves 10%, so you may see something for 50,000 on the menu, and then you'll find yourself paying 55,000, maybe 53,000. So they've tipped themselves. They say it's a tax, but it's a tax they've given themselves. Scooter hire is the best thing you can do. At the end of this video, we're going to go and visit a friend of mine who I've been hiring a scooter from for a good few months. And if you come to Ubud, I highly recommend hiring a scooter from him. I've hired 2 scooters in Ubud, actually 3. First one, X Max, for a month, cost me 6 million, which is around £300. And then the second one was of a guy called Loppa Loppa, a very nice guy, kept calling me brother, which was nice. And he charged 6 million for the month. But then in the middle of that, he wanted to go and get an oil change. And so he took the bike and then borrowed it for an additional 4 hours while he went to Denpasar and taxied himself there and back, which was nice. But in that time, he gave me an N Max, and I was speaking to this other courier, this other scooter rental company, which his name was Krisna, the guy we're going to go and meet later. And he said he could get me an X Max for 3 million, half the price. And which blew my mind. Didn't think it was possible. And in the end, he ended up giving me a 2023 model X Max for 3 million a month, which is, it only had 120 miles on the clock. I mean, it's a bike I still have now and I love dearly. I went back to Loppa Loppa and I said to him, you know, I've just got to buy it half the price. You're charging me twice as much. To which he explained to me that he's a businessman and that his customers generally are Russians, of whom hire villas for 90 million Indonesian rupees a month. So that's it. So then I went back to Krishna and I said, you know, Krishna, you're too cheap. And his quote was just beautiful. He says, I like to give a good, honest price so that I make good, honest money so I can buy good, honest food to feed my children. Isn't that lovely? And I've stuck with Krishna ever since. And he's a chap we're going to go and see later today, and maybe his daughter as well, Kylie, I think her name is. Anyway, let's carry on and let's talk about scooter hire. How do I legally drive a scooter in Bali? Well, for a start, you need to be over 17 and have an international driver's permit, which you can generally, in England, you can buy that from your local post office for about £6. You need to go in there with your passport, maybe some utility bills, and a passport photo or two, and of course about £6. Take £7 to be sure, it might have gone up. And then you can hire a bike here. Let's see what else we have. Can anyone use a scooter? Now that's a bit of a loaded question, to be fair. Anyone can ride a scooter. Anyone can use a scooter if they're over 17 and have a permit in Bali, in Ubud. But really, anyone who's got spatial awareness, balance, good judgment, and can ride a scooter safely, should be the real answer. Because, you know, if you've never ridden a scooter before, you know, they're not the kindest of roads. They're chaotic. The traffic in Ubud is very much, in Bali, is very much like water. If you see a gap, you have to take it because it will be filled. If you second guess anything, to a degree, you're holding up the traffic. So keep that in mind. How much does it cost to rent a scooter in Bali? We're going to ask Krishna about these prices because they do vary greatly. Whether you want a low cc, a medium cc like an N Max, which is a great go-to bike, or a larger bike for being a larger person like me, like the X Max. They all vary in prices. But also, if you want to rent per day, because you're only here for 2 or 3 days, or per week, or per month, again, the price is going to greatly differ. So we'll ask Krishna, but I don't think he's going to give you much more of an accurate answer to that question than I've just given you now. But what I will also do is put his QR code on the video. Let's say here. I have no idea how to do that. We'll see. Maybe it'll just be a screenshot here. And we'll see how we get on later on. Okay, let's continue with this list of questions. do you need a license to rent a scooter? Like I said, you need a driving permit from your country. Can a foreigner rent a scooter in Bali? Now, the government apparently are banning all tourists and foreigners from renting a scooter or a motorbike, and basically say we're going to have to hire cars from now on. But again, I'm going to ask Krisna about this later, because he doesn't believe that's actually the case. It might just be a bit of scaremongering. I really hope it's not, because there's a lot of locals of whom make a living out of renting scooters. So we'll see. Can you still rent a scooter in Bali? This is based on the governmental clampdown. There's been a lot of accidents, and the government want to, but whether they actually will or not is a completely another question. Are scooters in Bali automatic? 99% of the scooters you hire here will be. You can get manuals, I think, or you might as well just go for a larger motorbike if you're confident with a manual bike. But yes, they are automatic. My bike is even keyless, so I literally just walk to it, switch it on, turn it on, and then it's all in the revving and all in the braking. You can't get more automatic than that, really. Let's see, where are we? Are scooters hard to ride? Are scooters hard to ride in Bali? No, scooters are very easy. You may think initially, oh, this feels a lot bigger than a bicycle, but once you get momentum with you, the weight disappears, and you'll get into the main key to being a newbie on getting on a scooter is to move slightly and test your brakes. Because once you are confident you can stop, you are confident to go a little bit further, a little bit faster. So yes, stopping is the first thing you need to learn about going on a scooter. That's my personal advice anyway. Also make sure that the saddle isn't too high for you. If you're below maybe 4'5", you might find it hard to reach the floor. You only need to reach the floor on one side, but then have that in mind throughout your whole journey. Is it safe to ride a motorbike in Bali? Again, this boils down to your experience, your skills, and more important, your self-awareness and your cautiousness. You get a lot of people, Bali's awesome. It's easy to get caught up into the magnificence of it and have a good few drinks and then start bar hopping. Before you know it, you're doing 40 miles an hour on a knobbly road, intoxicated, without a helmet, because you've got your iPods in, and you're stopped by the police, or worst case, you go around a corner too fast and some gravel makes your front wheel slide. And when your front wheel slides, you slide with it. You won't have any hard collision, but your body will hit the ground and grate along the rustic tarmac like a cheese grater, and slowly take away your skin, your muscles, and start easily churning through your bone. That's a bit graphic, I know, but yeah, do keep that in mind. I might edit that bit out. Got to know that. How much does a scooter cost in Indonesia? Well, this is for buying, or now my X Max in England cost me just over £6,000 to buy second hand. It had 1,000 miles on the clock, and it was a year old. But here I can buy a brand new X Max for £3,500, half the price. Absolutely mind-blowing. But I would need to have a kit ass to do that, and therefore a work permit. How old do you have to be to ride a scooter in Bali? The legal age to ride a motorbike or a scooter in Bali is 17 years old. I think I'd said that before. And can a foreigner buy a scooter in Indonesia? Sorry, I'm repeating myself now. Yes, but only with a KITAS or a work visa. Okay, that's pretty much all the questions. I hope you found that helpful, and stay with us and we'll go and see Krishna now. Bye. Sadly, I couldn't film with Krishna today, simply because his location, being right on the main road up from Bintang on the right, was just so busy with traffic, it was just too noisy to film. But I did get all the information I needed, and I'm going to present it to you here now. We'll start with his location. So he's at the northwest of Ubud. I'm not going to give you the road name because literally I can't pronounce it. Here it is. But really the best thing to do would just be to Google Sunrise Villa Ubud, which is his family business. They have villas there, and he does the scooter rentals out of the front. But how you would get there is from Ubud Palace, go up past the Lotus Cafe on your right hand side, and then the road steers to the left, and you go over a bridge and then up the road with Bintang supermarket being on your left. Then he's a couple of minutes up on the right hand side. You'll see all his bikes. So I'm going to give you prices for 3 different types of bike. Well, actually 4. We'll come up to that. And I'm going to give you 2 prices for each one. So it'll be from this to that, because it'll depend. There's a lot of variables to consider. It'll depend on whether it's an older bike or a newer bike, and other things as well. We'll start with the Honda Scoopy, which is a 125cc bike, and it's a great go-to bike if you're just starting. It's got just enough oomph to get you up those hills, while it's also not intimidating, and it looks pretty good as well. So I highly recommend going for the Scoopy if you're a newbie. And the prices, which will all be in Indonesian rupees, 1 day hire is between 80 to 90,000 a day. For 1 week will be 490 to 560,000 a day, and for 1 month hire is between 800,000 and 1 million Indonesian rupees per month. The next bike and the next level up is Yamaha N Max. It's a 155cc and absolutely lovely go-to bike. For the money, you get a lot of bike for the money. I think that's really the best hire you can get if you're on a budget, and if you want something with a bit of oomph. You're meeting in the middle ground for the N Max. It's a lovely little ride, very nippy around town because it's nice and thin, and yet it's powerful. A 1 day hire for an N Max CC. This is also the same for a Honda PCX. These are the same prices. Honda PCXs are also a 155cc, also a lovely ride. But if you're a larger frame person or quite tall, you'll find yourself kind of really crammed in, because the handlebars to the seat is actually quite narrow. So I would recommend going for an N Max if you're a taller, or even just going in for an X Max, which I'll talk about next. But the prices for the N Max and the PCX for a 1 day hire is 130,000 Indonesian rupees up to 150,000. 1 week is 750,000 up to 910,000 Indonesian rupees. The 1 month hire for an N Max or PCX is 1.8 million to 2 million Indonesian rupees. And like I say, the N Max is a lovely, lovely bike. Okay, so the last bike we have is the X Max, my favourite, the Yamaha X Max, which is a 250cc bike, and I love them. I love them so much. I've had X Maxes for 7 years, and until I can afford to get a T Max, I can't imagine myself ever changing. A 1 day hire for an X Max is 200 to 250,000 Indonesian rupees. A 1 week hire is 1,260,000 Indonesian rupees to 1.4 million, and a 1 month hire is 2.9 million to 3.6 million per month. Now, if you're hiring it for 6 months or more than that, Krishna may do you a deal. You'll have to speak with him. I will put his QR code just here. Do give Krishna do get in contact with him through WhatsApp. He really is a lovely guy. And if you're coming at Ubud, the best way to get around is on a scooter without a hesitation of a doubt. And Krishna is the best guy to hire a bike off. So that's how you do it, guys. I hope you found this video helpful. And until next time, take care.